The alarm went off at 7 this morning. I'm very pleased. And I eventually got out of bed sometime later and looked out and birds are singing, still. It's pretty dark at 7. And I realised I hadn't changed my mobile phone clock. Back half an hour to like we do. I thought, I tried to change it, but I didn't know how to do it, so I have to find somewhere between 5 to help me change the time on the mobile phone. I've now worked out that mobile phones do more than phone and SMS, and actually uses clocks and alarms. I can hear the alarm. The clock. But I guess this morning, in the beautiful sunshine and the stillness, it was quite different to the story we've just read. And it's a wonderful, simple story in Matthew 14. One of the favourites of all of us. It's one of those Sunday school stories that we always seem to remember. Let's get the story right so we know what's going on before we learn to right back here. Move over. Take the sound.
I think that's probably where you are, Sam.
I'll stand here. No, I'll stand here. Is that better? Can you see? Yes, good. The story is set on the northwestern shore of the Sea of Galilee. It was late in the day and Jesus had just performed that great miracle of feeding 5,000 people, 5,000 men, plus women and children, with 5 loaves and 2 fish. Well, of course, everybody was understandably amazed by that. They were enthralled by that miracle, and the people wanted to make him king. Well, Jesus knew that their enthusiasm was shallow, and he refused to accede to their request, and so he goes off to pray by himself. And that was something he often did to recharge his batteries. And after dismissing the crowd, he sends the disciples on ahead to the other side of the lake, testing them, telling them that he would meet them later. And the record is very simple. It's a very, very understated story. And the record simply says, in the NIV I think it is, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. And after he dismissed the crowd, he went up on the mountainside by himself to pray. And I wonder what the disciples thought. Jesus says, go to the other side, I'll meet you there. The other side? But that's 15 kilometres away. How are you going to get there? Boat? You have to walk across the water? That's a long way to go. And as the disciples begin to sail across the lake, an enormous storm blows up. From the way the Gospel writers tell the story, it seems as if the storm began early in the evening, somewhere around perhaps 8 o'clock, and continued all night long. The Sea of Galilee, I've never been there, is nestled against the mountains, and so perhaps this was not unusual for the storm to come up fairly quickly, and then to go quickly. But not this one. This one lasted a long time. And the disciples in the boat, and they're struggling against the wind and the rain, and it's 9 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock, and the mobile phone says it's now 11, and it's 12, and it's 1, and it's 2. When's this going to finish? 3 o'clock? And the storm continues, and there's no sign of letting up. This is a different sort of storm. And after 8 or 9 exhausting hours, the disciples were stuck in the middle of the lake, drenched, chilled to the bone, to the point they're wondering, are we even going to make it to the shore, even though it's not that far away? And the record simply says that during the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. And when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and they cried out in fear. Well, by Roman divisions of time, the divisions of the day, the 4th watch was somewhere between 3 and 6 in the morning. That's a long time to row a boat. From a reasonable time of just after dinner, perhaps, to sometime before dawn. And sometime during that 3 to 6 a.m, Jesus comes to them walking on the water. Now, of course, this is a literal miracle. It's not a symbol, it's not a parable, it's not an extended metaphor, it's not a vision. This is real. This happened. This is literal. We don't know how he did it, and it doesn't matter. But that he actually did it, I don't think we have any doubt. After all, walking on the water really wouldn't be a great challenge for some of them. But when the disciples saw him walking the water, of course, they were absolutely terrified. I guess not being able to discern the distance, just really what it was. Some sort of spirits of the water, spirits of the deep, whatever. Of course, they were wrong, but it probably wasn't a bad guess from their point of view. A fair guess. What would they be expecting at 3 a.m. in the middle of the lake where nothing worked? It's only a matter of time before the boat tips over. What are they thinking? Oh, here comes Jesus. That's good. He's decided to walk on the water in the middle of the storm. They wouldn't have expected that. They had no idea how he's going to get there, but they wouldn't have expected that. It's not every day that you see someone take a midnight stroll across the lake, particularly in the middle of a storm. And so we can understand their fear. They've been rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing and getting absolutely nowhere. They can't seem to make it to shore. They're dead tired. Every muscle aches. And the wind howls around them and the rain pelts mercilessly. Cold, tired, waterlogged, grumpy, hungry, frustrated. Jesus simply says, when they get close enough, take courage in his eye, don't be afraid. Peter says, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to on the water. And Jesus says, come. And Peter got out of the boat and walked in the water and came towards Jesus. In the 19th century, evidently, many commentators reacted negatively to what Peter did. They called him impulsive, headstrong, foolish for even wanting to walk on water. Some have even suggested then that Peter thought that he was a bit better than the others. But of course, all that misses the point. There is nothing in the text whatsoever to even remotely suggest that Peter was wrong for wanting to walk on the water. Everything, in fact, points the other way. Peter is not being impetuous. It's not as if he jumps out of the boat and starts walking. Perhaps that would have been presumptuous or foolish, or both. Matthew is very clear that Peter asks permission first. If Jesus says no, then Peter stays in the boat. But Jesus didn't say no. When Peter asks the question, Jesus says, come. How can you criticise Peter for that? We must not miss the force of Jesus' words when he said, take courage, it's I, don't be afraid. And evidently he used an expression that the disciples would immediately understand, but I'm no Greek or Hebrew scholar. But evidently the Greek version of it is I, take courage, it is I, is the Greek version of God's word in Exodus 3, which we won't turn up. The name of God where he says, I am or I will be, which way we look at it. And Jesus, one commentator suggested, was linking himself with the God of the Old Testament who miraculously delivered his people again and again and again. It's not Jesus saying, don't worry, it's me, I'm the ghost. It's his way of saying, I am one with the Lord of the universe. He created the wind and the waves and sent the storm to pour around you. It's the Son of God himself who tells Peter to come to him on the water. When Jesus says, come, then you'd better obey. When he says walk, then you'd better walk. In Peter's case, it was safer out on the water than in the boat. At that moment, the smartest thing that Peter could have done was to get out of the boat. And once Peter was on the water, he turns to walk towards Jesus, and as he walks, his master walks towards him, and everything goes fine until Peter notices what's going on around him. Remember, the storm continued. It has not yet stopped. And during all this commotion, the rain has been coming down in sheets. Behind him now, the little fishing boat bobbed on the rolling waves. Matthew simply says in his record that when he saw the wind, whatever that is like, I don't know how you see the wind. When he saw the wind, he was afraid. But the wind was there all along. The storm had been raging for hours. It's not as if it let up when Jesus started to walk in the water. And it didn't let up when Peter got out of the boat. Jesus came there in the midst of the storm. It continues to rage. And the wind doesn't die down till Jesus and Peter get back in the boat. But by then, the point has been made. We can all get distracted, especially in the storms of life that rage all around us all the time. It's not easy to keep your eyes on Jesus in the middle of that sort of night, when the raging storms of fear threaten to overwhelm us. And the text goes on and reminds us that not only does Jesus control the storm, he reveals himself in the middle of the storm. And very often our purest vision of Jesus comes when the storms of life threaten to capsize us and capsize the tiny boat of our faith. The wind continues to blow around us. We have no choice or control over when the storm comes. Today the sun may be shining, and tomorrow we may find ourselves toiling against the wind and the rain of our lives, tossed about by adversity. Life can turn in a moment. We all know that. And the older we are, the more we've seen of it. What happened to Peter? It happened to any of us. For a brief moment he forgot about Jesus and remembered who he is and where he is. He's Peter, the Galilean fisherman, who belongs not out here on the water, but back there in the boat. In that instant, he looked down and around and saw nothing but water underneath. And his mind came to that very quick, logical conclusion that you and I will probably have. I'm not supposed to be walking on the water. This is impossible. And when he lost his concentration on Jesus, he began to sink. And as he goes down into the water, he prays one of the shortest prayers of the Bible. Lord, save me. And brevity in prayer is the course of wisdom. When you're sinking, you don't have a long time to pray a long prayer. If you aren't quick about it, you'll drown before you get to the point. And the Bible says that immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. And his words to Peter are very important. He says, in the English version it says, you of little faith, why did you doubt? You of little faith. It's four words in English. In Greek, evidently, Jesus used one word. It's not you of little faith, you of little faith, man of little faith. The word simply means little faith. It's a title. Now, it's a nickname. Little faith. Little faith, why did you doubt? This conversation is taking place in the middle of the lake. It's pitch dark, remember. The wind still howls. The rain beats down. The boat with the other disciples, we've forgotten about them. They're just back there, rocking up and down a few yards away, a few metres away. Peter is sopping wet and scared to death. And Jesus stands in the water as Peter clutches his arm now for dear life. And after Jesus pulls Peter from the lake, he decides that this is a teachable moment. So while on the lake, Jesus shares a few things that will help Peter in his spiritual life. But back in the boat, what's happening there? They're watching this whole scene. Their mouths wide open, their eyes as big as saucers. They've never dreamt that such a thing like this was possible. The record says that when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down, and those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." This was proof positive. They recognised they were in the presence of power indeed. So let's think about what's really going on. What's behind the text? The obvious thing, and we've all picked this one up I think, is we've got to get out of the boat. Remember when I said that when Jesus says, "Come," you better obey. When he says, "Walk," you better walk. Well, we've got to give Peter credit because he did what the others didn't do. The other 11 are alone watching this whole drama. But before you sink, you've got to be out on the water. You don't sink in the boat, you sink out there in the water. As long as you stay in the boat, you'll never sink. But you'll never ever be able to walk on water. This is about Peter walking on the water because he was the only one with the courage to get out of that boat. Maybe some of the others wanted to, although the text doesn't tell us that. Maybe they would have if Peter stayed out there longer just to prove it was quite solid. But give the man credit. Peter did it. And they didn't. And that's why this story is about him. And the other 11 don't even rate a mention that they're there. We shouldn't criticise Peter for being of little faith or having little faith. Remember that little faith, his name, remember that little faith is better than no faith. I'd rather have little faith than no faith at all. Because that's what the others, the disciples there, had when they stayed behind. They're no faith. He's little faith. We'd rather be little faith than no faith. When Jesus called Peter little faith, he was not rebuking Peter for attempting too much, trusting too little. And there's a difference. Jesus is not saying, Peter, I really want you should have stayed in the boat. No. Peter asked first. Jesus said, "Come on." Jesus did not rebuke Peter for getting out of the boat. What Jesus is simply saying, Peter, if you just kept your eyes on me, don't look down the water, if you kept your eyes looking out at me, you could have walked on and on across the Pacific Ocean. Just keep looking at me ahead. Peter was able to walk on water as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus. And when he took his eyes off Jesus for a moment, looked down, he began to sink. And yet the one fact remains, that he got out of the boat. So why did the other 11? Well, there's all sorts of reasons why the others wouldn't get out of the boat. The obvious one is that they were afraid. Jesus had assured them that he wasn't a ghost of some sort, walking toward a little boat, but they were still afraid. And it was dark, and they were in the midst of a storm, and I guess fear is the obvious reaction. They had doubts about what was really going on. Jesus had assured them that he wasn't a ghost, but they still had doubts of some sort. After all, no one had actually walked on water before, well, not that they'd ever seen. What they didn't realise, or at this stage maybe their understanding wasn't deep enough, what they didn't understand that Jesus Christ really was no ordinary man. He was the Son of God who could do all things, including walking on the water. Another reason they didn't get out of the boat was because, well, at least in the boat, I feel safe. I'm surrounded by something. There's something there, timber floor. But then, maybe we shouldn't criticise because I don't think I would have got out of that. You probably wouldn't either. Would we have been afraid to step out? And how many of us have doubts about stepping out? And how many of us are so safe in the boat that we just don't want to get out at all? Fear, doubts, safety, it's becoming very familiar. We're like that, we know people like that. The boat that we tend to stay in for dear life is known as our comfort zone. The comfort zones are very comfortable. The Lord commands us to step out in faith to do a great work for Him, and yet we allow fear and doubt to take control of us. And we don't move when the Lord says move, because we don't want to leave our comfort zone. We're in a boat, we're surrounded, we're safe, we're afraid. We want to be like the ship that's anchored in the safe harbour away from the wind. Well, a ship in a harbour is safe, but that's not what ships were built for, being safe in a harbour. And our ship in the harbour could be, well, you've all got your own list. It could be the house, your car, certainly the job. I think today more than anything else, the job has become certainly the safe place. Our money, our position at work, reputation, our relationship, or a bad habit, or an addiction, or perhaps the safe boat is our church, our pleasure world, the way we do things, in inverted commas, the way we worship, the sort of music we worship to, the version of the Bible we read, the Christian books that we read, the way we read the Bible in the same way as we've always read it without additional understanding. Perhaps it's our friends or our family. It's anything that makes us feel absolutely comfortable. The question is, then, what is your boat, my boat? We've all got them, and for every one of us, the boats sometimes, not always, sometimes can hold us back. And they hold back God for and showing His glory. He can't work through us if we don't give ourselves totally to God and let Him take control. Maybe we don't want to let God have control over our lives. Perhaps we are content to sit back comfortably in that boat until the kingdom arrives. Sit back very comfortably, thank you very much, and I'll float across the lake, and eventually it'll happen. But our lives were never meant to work that way. So let's think about how our comfort zones work. First, there's three or four. First of all, there's one way of seeing our development as followers of Jesus. There's the comfort zone on the left, and we sit inside the boat and we're very safe. We might want to stretch a bit, stretch the boundaries, stretch the edges. And this psychologist calls it the stretch zone. So we're still sort of tethered, we're holding on, but we can stretch a bit, but we still hold on there while we stretch. It's very sort of exercise, isn't it? Then the next one is the risk zone. Now we're in a bit of trouble because we're taking some risks. So we don't comfortable about risks. Danger is the fourth zone, and we don't want to be in the danger zone. Danger zone might be a problem. The risk zone, though, is probably worth thinking about. That's the first way. The second way of seeing it is a series of circles. In the middle is the comfort zone. We're familiar with that. We know all about it. And we maintain the old way of doing things, our patterns of life. We set into our habit. Everything works just nicely, just comfortable. I go along and I know what to expect. Works comfortable that way. If we go along, we know it's going to a meeting, going to cover our crucial scene. We move in, we know exactly how it all works. It's all very comfortable. Thank you very much, don't change it. Just leave it alone. This psychologist then says we can stretch that to the groan zone. I like that term, the groan zone. Make your own groan. It's that sort of groan. I'm not, it's a little bit different. It's as mundane as swapping the hymns and readings and prayers around. For some people that's a groan zone. I don't know why, but it's a groan zone for some. It's moved things around. I know a couple of clergymen in Sydney where, just going back 20, 30 years, they decided to move all the announcements from the end to the front of the meeting. And I've been going, "Ugh." I don't like it because I think if you do the announcement from the beginning, maybe it's not possible because by the end of an hour later you've forgotten everything, so why bother? But yet, things like that, and for some people, that can be part of the groan zone. Can't find a verse in the Bible that's a problem. Some people that's a problem, but for them it's a groan zone. And maybe some things are risky and uncomfortable. Or there's the word anxiety. And maybe that leads us to want to go back to the way we used to do it. Get back there, get back in the boat. Easy to do that way. But it's the blue bit, the growth zone we've got to get to. Get beyond the groaning. Get over it. Move to positive territory. This is serving the Lord territory. Growth zone. Confidence using new knowledge. Maybe we've read this 1,000. How many times do we read a little section like that? How many times have we read it? 50, 100, 200 times, and all of a sudden. Oh, didn't see that before. This is why I love Bible class. We've read this passage in Bible class, whatever it is, so many times, and something jumps out. Whoever it is speaking finds something I haven't thought of, but we're growing. New knowledge, different way of seeing things. Integration of skills into daily lifestyle and feelings of mastery, accomplishment and familiarity. And by doing all these other things that becomes familiar because we become used to doing things just a bit different. Third one, this is good, this is about water and floating. There's the water bubble on the left. The water bubble says comfort zone in big letters. And it says up there, I don't know where they get the figure from, but they reckon probably 90% of the population likes to be in the comfort zone. So I reckon that there's about 15, 20 people here who happen to be outside of the rest. We want to stay there because that's the safest place to be. And look at the words that come up in comfort zone in physical diagram. It's settling, we become tired, people doing the same thing all over again. Mediocrity settles in because we're doing it the same way, and once you do things the same way, there's no challenge, it becomes humdrum. And then down below that says just survival, depression, fear, and the big question, what if I can't? What if I can't do it, so I won't try, I won't move there, I'll just stay here where it's comfortable. What if I can't do it? What if I can't do it? But look what's outside the bubble in the water. Confidence, dreams, making a splash. And that's not to be noticed by other people. It's just a splash. Things move. Things happen. Maybe there's success, maybe there's passion in what we do. Passion in what we do. Or if we lost the passion because we're singing both of them. Is there excitement with what we do, what we think, what we discover, what we read? Do we fulfill? What if I can, is the question. It's positive. What if I can? There's a possibility there. No regrets. Purpose. We've got to think about where we are in that bubble or outside of it. The fourth diagram, this is a process one could go through. Takes us through denial, well, there's change, no, I change, resisting. There's a suggestion I really don't have a choice, but maybe, well, I can say no, but I resist it. I get to the point somewhere where I cross over to exploring it. I move from resistance to exploration. And once I've made that change to exploration, I can move on to commitment and on, life continues. We need to make that move. What if I can? Not what if I can't. What if I can? The sky becomes the limit. Because what if I can lead out to open-ended? And life in Christ ought to be open-ended. We've made the commitment. And any time we refuse to step out in faith to do a great work for the Lord because of the comfort zone, then we miss out on the blessings that the Lord has for us. If the other 11 disciples wanted to get to Jesus like Peter did, they had to step out of the boat. And for us sometimes to receive the blessings that God has for us, we've got to step out of the boat because our blessings may be out there in the water. And when we step out there, of course, problems will arise. That's life. Storms of life, if we have them storms of life, well, we haven't really lived and we're not going to cope with things very long. Expect troubles to arise here and there. But don't fear, because as we step out of the boat to do great work for the Lord, He's there. And if we sink, and we're looking at Him, He reaches out and He grabs us. So how are we going? How are we going about thinking? We could see perhaps, to use another metaphor, I should mention, can I just digress while I'm talking about metaphors? For those who wonder why I'm using all this literary stuff, for those who don't know, in my previous life, before this exciting life of retirement, free. In my working life, I was the head of English department in a high school for 20-something years and then deputy. So for me, literature is important, and the Bible as literature is an eye-opener, like you would never believe. So here we are, the metaphor of taking the leap of faith. Like that. What stops us from taking that leap? Don't look down between the buildings. It's a hard fall. What stops us from taking the leap? Do we look at the gap between the buildings? Do we look at the height, vertigo, and look down and whoa? Are we safe where we are? Let's stay on this side, even though the other side has got more opportunities. We don't want to go into the dark, into the unknown, over the abyss. It's a leap of faith from nothing to something. Or is that really the wrong metaphor altogether? Perhaps it's not a leap of faith, but a step of faith. Because we can see Jesus, and we know what that's right, say that. Sorry, I added this one at the last moment, and Julie had to say this one. So. All right. It's a step of faith because we can see Jesus, and we know what He's done. The record's there. We've got the testimony of all the witnesses of the past, and the testimony of each other. It's a step of faith, perhaps. We know what He's done, we know what He does for us, and perhaps that's what it is. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Let's take the first step. You know where the staircase is going. Just start. Just start. God is more concerned with our spiritual growth than our own personal comfort. We often say and sing that He loves us just as we are. But He loves us too much to leave us that way. He sees down the road and He's moulding us in His image, step by step. And perhaps we're so rigid we won't let Him mould us at all. There are many boats in our lives, and each one of them holds back. They can keep us from fulfilling the Lord's command, from doing His will for our lives. Perhaps it's a bit like this picture, where fear of change is debilitating and becomes an excuse not to serve the Lord. They're afraid. You're looking at the sack here. The chooks are afraid of change if they sit on the perch, and they need reminding that loose change in front of them. In American terms, it's just nice. It was Helen Keller who said, Life is either a daring adventure or it is nothing at all. Helen Keller, who was born blind and deaf, found a way out of darkness into the world around her and became an inspiration for so many people. Life is either a daring adventure or it's nothing at all. When we read the Bible again and again, we discover that many women who accomplished great things for God weren't content to accept the status quo. They thought that more could be done if only someone would lead the way. And when no one else stepped forward, they stepped forward. They volunteered. The life of faith is inherently a life of risk. It's not the grown zone, it's a step further out. It's the life of risk. Think of all the men and women in the Bible, and you've all got your own list, you can think of them all, who did great things for God. And almost without exception, they were risk takers who weren't afraid to lay it all on the line for God. The ones that came to my mind, people like Noah who built an ark, a very brave project which dragged on for years in the face of ridicule. And it wasn't even raining when Noah started. If he'd been raining, how risky would it have been? Bright sunshine, middle of the Australian desert, hasn't rained for 4 years, and let's build a big boat. That takes courage. Hebrews 11 says that by faith Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. By his faith he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith. The sun's shining, life is good. Build a boat of that size because no answer. Because God said to. The Lord said to do it, so Noah did it against all the odds. He did it at a time when people didn't believe in that sort of God. Their gods were many and varied, and their gods reacted quickly to human events right now. A God for everything. A God for now. A God who is always immediate. Noah's God didn't make him see it for a long time. And when he did, it rained. Noah had to believe. And he saw it before the rain came down. Abraham left Haran to go to the promised land. Well, yes, it was a wealthy man. Lots of servants, lots of cattle, all that sort of stuff. But he was going somewhere new, not too sure where he was going or why. Well, he knew why, but how was it all going to work? Hebrews simply says that by faith Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive his inheritance, obeyed and went. That's stepping out of the boat. Even though he didn't know where he was going, says Hebrews. By faith he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. How unsettling is that, comfort zone people? Stranger in a foreign country with what, 318 servants and family? Wandering around somewhere there in what we now call Israel. That's not very comfortable. Moses led the people of God out of Egypt. That's a massive enterprise, being a nation to start from scratch, because they weren't a nation really before. In the face of opposition, determined to wipe them out before they started. And then there were nations that kept on going, trying to wipe them out. It never really worked. Well, first Moses didn't want to do it. Yet someone else here says, oh, I'm not very good at public speaking. What a cop-out. Moses, who'd been trained in Pharaoh's court. Moses knew. Find an excuse. The Lord says, come. And he did. David, a humble shepherd, was quite happy out there in the fields with the sheep, and then he was thrust into the forefront of politics. with the expectation that he may actually slay the giant. I wonder if they really thought he could slay the giant, or was this just pleasing people and the soldiers? He was thrust then into the realm of power and accepted the role that God had chosen for him. And then there's Paul, who came from a university education in law and ritual and tradition, who was finally blinded and enlightened by the Lord himself. And he got out of the boat, or off his camel, off his donkey, got out of the boat to walk on the water of freedom in Christ. And boy, I'm really mixing metaphors here, sorry students. Paul received his call to go to the Gentiles. Imagine what he thought when he received the call to go across the Bosphorus to Macedonia. Think about that. Acts 16 says, during the night, Paul had a vision of a man in Macedonia standing and begging him, come over to Macedonia and help us. After Paul had seen the vision, we got ready at once to leave for Macedonia, concluding that God had called us to preach the gospel to them. Me? You want me to go across the Bosphorus over there to them? To the Greeks? To the orators, to the debaters, to the heathen, to the unclean? Do you want me to go there? The record simply says, in understatement of course, Paul simply accepted his commission. Now there of course there's Jesus himself. Jesus who challenged the system which denied his Father's rightful place in people's lives. That was his challenge. Ridiculous traditions and procedures had replaced devotion to God. The great Rabbi Hillel, who codified the Mishnah and the Talmud, had died just 20 years before Jesus appeared on the sight scene. Talk about God picking his time. Why did Jesus arrive then? Hillel had just died. Hillel, the one who had codified all the ridiculous rules. And all the things that Jesus talked about were fairly new. God picked his time when he sent his son. And several of Jesus' sayings reflected on Hillel's teachings and as usual gave them the twist. Jesus had to be careful with every word and place, and time and audience, until the time was right. And he had total trust in the Lord of all creation to deliver him and surround him. At the right time, Jesus accepted the will of the Almighty. Jesus walked on water. He invited, past tense, and he still invites, present tense, his followers to do the same, so that none of us is left in the boat.
Thank